Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, 10 a.m. meditation. So glad that you could be here this morning. I just invite you to be comfortable right where you are. And I found this meditation written by Samantha Feller, and I thought that I would share it with you. It's a meditation script for self-love. So once you're settled in, you can close your eyes or lower your gaze and tune into your breath. Notice your breath, just without trying to change it. Just pay attention. Notice also if you feel tense or relaxed without trying to change that either. Just checking in and breathing normally. Experiencing the breath in your body. Now inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Continue to take deep, full breaths in through your nose, and out through your mouth. As you breathe, become aware of the state of your body and the quality of your mind. Where is your body holding tension? Do you feel closed off or shut down emotionally? Where is your mind? Is it wandering, or is it home within the breath? Is your mind at ease or filled with restlessness, negativity, and doubt? Place both your hands over your heart and continue to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Ask yourself, how does it feel to place my hands over the tender area? This place where I experience love for self and others. Let your breath become more smooth and effortless. And begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Feel the flow of air moving into your lungs, back out into the world. With each exhale, imagine you're releasing any negative thoughts that may be lingering in your mind. Just release them and let them go. Continue to focus on your breath. On each inhale, think, I am worthy. And on each exhale, I am enough. I am worthy. I am enough. Let each inhale draw in self-love. And each exhale, releasing what no longer serves you. Let's take a few minutes to breathe in and recite this mantra internally or aloud. And notice how you feel as you say these words to yourself. I am worthy. I am enough. I am worthy. I am enough. If your mind wanders at any point, know that that's okay. It's the nature of the mind to wander. Simply bring your attention back to the breath. Notice how your thoughts come and go, whether positive or negative, and simply allow them to pass on by like clouds floating in the sky. I am worthy. I am love. I am worthy. I am love. Now visualize yourself standing in front of a mirror and look into your own eyes. What do you see? Is it pain and sadness? Love or joy? Or neutrality? Just take a moment And imagine as you see yourself in the mirror, fully accepting who you are and where you are right now. Regardless of what appears in the reflection, tell yourself, I am love. Tell your beautiful reflection, you are beautiful. You are worthy of happiness. I am love. I am beautiful. I am worthy of happiness. Imagine now that you could breathe into your heart and visualize love pouring out of your hands and into your heart. We visualize this love pouring into our heart, knowing that we are already love. We are love made manifest. And we imagine this love pouring in through our hands into our heart space, opening us up. Let this love warmth and permeate you from your heart center, filling the rest of your body. Feel a sense of comfort and calm traveling up through your chest, into your neck and your head, out into your shoulders, arms, and hands. And then down into your ribs, your belly, your pelvis, your legs and your feet. Just feel it, see divine love filling you up, every place and space. There is no spot where love is not. We are the embodiment of love. We are love made manifest. Allow a sensation of warmth to fill you from head to toe. Breathe here and now and know that love is always available for you when you need it. Sit for a few moments to acknowledge the unique experience you have had during this meditation. This is a beautiful opportunity to learn something new about yourself and to tune in to your physical and emotional needs. Let love enable you to build a stronger relationship with yourself, allowing you to show up more fully in your life. I want to end the meditation with a quote from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And know this with me now, that there's one divine presence. It is love. It is the love of the cosmos as it expresses through each one of us. We are the love made manifest and expressed as only it can for each one of us. Unity of love and multiplicity. What a magnificent, marvelous idea. What a magnificent life that we're participating in. We open ourselves up to love, knowing that we are love. We are loved. We are loving. We are lovable. We are worthy. We are beautiful. We are magnificent, eternal, spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in 3D physical earth suit body forms. We know that as we give, we receive. We give ourselves this knowledge and knowing that we are loved, that we can consciously breathe into it in each and every moment. Breathing in, knowing that we are loved, feeling the power of that love, letting it resonate in every part and spot of our body. Revealing to us the true nature of our being. We are perfect, whole, and complete. We are here by divine invitation, and we said yes, yes, and we show up. And we know love, and we experience love, and we give love, and we receive love, and we understand the reciprocal nature of the universe to give and receive. Before you have asked, I will have given. It is done unto you as you believe. We let all this soak in. We let the miracle of everyday life, of everyday breath, be the truth of our being, the demonstration of our life. I'm so grateful for all showing up today. I'm grateful for this virtual space where we can share together, where we can create together, where we realize, visualize, recognize a world that works for all. One thought, word, emotion, feeling, and deed, and one life-affirming interaction at a time. It is all good. It is so good. All is well in my world. La'alam, Amin, Amen. From cosmic gathering to cosmic gathering, let this be the new earth from which our creative potential flows. I am so grateful. I release this treatment. It is all good. It is all done. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Good morning. What a beautiful meditation. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We are holy, holy, holy. All right. Good morning. Woo! Beautiful Sunday morning, huh? That woke up Reverend Ray. Yes, we ready. Welcome all. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. Woo! I am your host, Tracy Rhymes. As if you didn't know. Our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, is our speaker today. Woo! And that voice you just heard was our musician, Tapora. Yes. Serving as today's practitioner who led us through that pre-service meditation is Sue Monahan. Assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community are our sign language interpreters, Ashley Goldman and Deidre Wilcher. Working behind the scenes, holding things down are Frank Matthew and Jim Lefter. On behalf of Reverend Dr. Ray, thank you all for your service. All right. Did you know that at CSL Greater Baltimore every Sunday is an invite a friend or family member Sunday? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. Because it is true. Make sure you spread the love and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us. Yes, we would. And we'd have fun with them too. That word was actually, we'll have fun with them. I heard it.
Enunciate, Tracy. Enunciate.
We would love to have fun with them and hang out. That's as far as it's gonna go. Anyway, moving right along. Before Sue, one of the hardest working women in CSL, comes and sets the tone and grounds us in prayer, let me share these things about her. Sue has been part of this teaching since 2004. She has been a practitioner since 2013. Sue believes that we are the point of power in our lives, that our essence is spiritual and it is good. It is her desire to let Spirit reveal its wonderful truth through her. Sue is committed to CSLGB's vision that we are demonstrating a world that works for all. One life-affirming thought, word, feeling, deed, and one human interaction at a time. We all make a difference in other people's lives. May our light shine for all to see.
Thank you, Tracy. Good morning, wonderful CSL Greater Baltimore community. So right here and right now, we ground ourselves in the knowing of what it means to be part of a community, to show up and share this space and this time together, to be open to receive love, to be love, to know ourselves as that which is all in all. God, Source, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Baha'u'llah, whatever name we give it, it is all that there is, and it lives and moves and has its being through each one of us. This is amazing. This is magnificent. This is wonderful. I'm so grateful for coming together today to hear the message, to actually be part of the message, this divine word from our senior minister, Reverend Raymont Anderson. And everyone that participates in the service, everyone that shows up, every comment, It's all good. It's all God expressing. It's good. It's powerful. And we are the ones we've been waiting for. I am so grateful to know this truth. I release this word into the law, knowing that it is done as I believe. I know the highest and best good is unfolding for each and every one of us and for our center. Amen. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you very much, Sue. All right. So, the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's community, honors the world's religions. One tree, many branches. One mountain, many paths. One world, many religions and spiritual traditions. With the lighting of these candles on the first Sunday of each month, we not only honor each person on their select path, but we also bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, and in each person. Just take that in. All right, so I have some announcements for you. We currently have 3 weekly ongoing ways to study, to learn, and to discuss. And them discussions be some good discussions. All right, first and third Monday nights, the Sacred Contracts Book Club, hosted by Nancy Rosenberg. Then slide on down to Wednesday night to the Science of Mind Textbook Exploration Group, facilitated by Reverend Dr. Ray. Then you move on down just a little bit to Thursday night and hang out with the study group facilitated by practitioner Dr. Ronnie Ellington. Woo! And them be some discussions that be discussing some stuff that they discuss. Check them out. All right. So, if you're interested in membership, the Discovery class is available online. Contact us at info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org or visit the website for more information on becoming a member of CSLGB. Whoa! You will not be disappointed. You'll get to see me more. Sign up for the CSLGB newsletter. Some good stuff in there. The YouTube channel, there's some nice stuff on there, and more subscription we get, more things we can do. Hint, hint, subscribe. Also to the CSLGB Facebook and Instagram pages where lots of stuff is happening. And get more news and information by visiting cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Would you like to receive? I think I'm on the wrong one. I'm sorry. Did I skip? I did. Okay, there we go. My fault. CSLGB Ministry of Education has some upcoming classes. The first one is the CSLGB Ministry of Education that is kicking off our first quarter with these 3 classes. First, beginning February 2nd, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. for 6 weeks. The Scientific Art of Prayer, facilitated by practitioner Eugene Holden. The purpose of this class is to provide the tools that will change your life. Though the Scientific Art of Prayer uses the same 5 steps of affirmative prayer, which is recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release, you will learn to no longer just speak your word. You will be the place through which word is made flesh. You become the living embodiment of the spoken word. Beginning March 10th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. for 4 weeks. Check that out. The 5 invitations facilitated by Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. These 5 invitations show us how to wake up fully to our lives. They can be understood as best practices for anyone coping with loss or navigating any sort of transition or crisis. They guide us toward appreciating life's preciousness. The 5 invitations is a powerful, inspiring exploration of the essential, wisdom dying has to impart to all of us. And beginning March 16th, 7 to 9 p.m. for 4 weeks. Spiritual Rebel, facilitated by Reverend Sarah Bowen. Chaotic times call for embracing our rebellious sides in service to change. Spiritual Rebel encourages you to clarify the beliefs that are personally meaningful for you. Redefine unhelpful concepts you might be hanging on to, engage deeply with spiritual practices, and to ask curious questions about your higher purpose. For full class descriptions and more information on these and more, visit our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.org or cslgreaterbaltimore.com. All right, now I'm back. Would you like to receive a daily text and voicemail from Reverend Dr. Ray? If so, here's what you do. You ready? Type JOIN to 833-663-9021 to begin to receive your daily inspirations. There is also another new service that you can subscribe to receive weekly words of wisdom each week. CSLGB's spiritual leadership team will send you words of inspiration, contemplation, meditation, and more. To sign up to receive, visit our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.org. All right, usually every Sunday, if you're joining us for the first time, on the count of 3, I say, prayer works. We all say, prayer works. So, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Prayer works!
Woo! That was powerful. That was powerful. Now, we, as a community, continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent at any time, and that is at any time, via email to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Okay, so as of today, the total number of people who have made their transition due to COVID-19, and this is touching, exceeds over 402,000. Whew. At this time, I ask that all of you join me in this moment of silence in honor of each one of them. Thank you. Okay. Our musician today is Tipora. Formerly trained in composition, piano, and songwriting at Oberlin and Peabody Conservatories, as well as in Towson State's jazz program, was raised in a musical family with an oboe-toting, guitar-picking mom. And the music of the 60s and 70s to feed her soul. From Odetta to Debussy to Armenian rhythm, her music is imbued with a uniquely inspired fusion of musical influences. Tipora blends these together to breathe originality and life into her body of spiritually centered compositions and songs. Tipora's newest project is with a sync licensing agency out of LA, where she is building a career in the TV, film, and ads world. There's so much she's doing. Check her out at facebook.com, /Tipora Music. I give you Tipora.
I think so many of us are taking a big exhale right now after the last several months, several weeks. This song is called Gentle Warrior, and it's an invitation to rest and find our center.
Go in peace. All right, at this time, Sue will lead us in a spiritual practice.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it. Because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
So we just surrender into this moment, into this awareness, into this beautiful word spoken, into this empowered movement of spirit through this glorious design. We are so grateful to hear these words and to be moved and excited and exhilarated, just letting the love pour forth. This is good. It is so good. We are here. We are the ones. It is all good. It is all God in expression. I release this. And so it is.
It's that time of service. Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man. One look at his resume and the reason becomes clear. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and self-awakening, he lives his bliss as a teacher, mentor, speaker, minister, and so much more. His mission is to live, move, and be an active, which is an acronym, authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, emancipate, awaken, and empower people and communities. Rev, come knock it out the park.
Hola, greetings, bonjour, konnichiwa, ni hao. So let's breathe. Tracy's doing some technical difficulty stuff. So let's breathe. Send her some energy, but I'm going to keep on moving along. So today we're talking about this idea of looking ahead. Still this month, which is coming to an end rather quickly. 2021 is, starting to move by a little quickly. But we're still talking about timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. Today, having taken stock, we're ready to plan our journey and not only look to where it is that we want to go, but to get up and go. What possibilities lie beyond the horizon? Where are the growing edges in ourselves, in our communities, and in our movement? We set our intentions, and we begin the work of moving forward. So let's think about that. Let's marinate on that idea, because it's one thing to set an intention and plan to go somewhere, but we know, anytime we're talking about, being lost or sightseeing, there are moments or times when we're like, okay, first of all, I think I know where I'm going, but in order to know exactly where I'm going, I have to first know where I am. I mean, how many times have you looked at one of those maps that says, you are here? And that's sort of like the starting position, the starting point for moving forward. So the idea, keep in mind, that first slide said we are taking stock of where we are right now. We're taking stock of who we are and what we're being and how we're showing up right now so that we can determine where we are going and how to get there. What train is going to get us to, Upper West Side Manhattan versus the areas of Chelsea? Like, where do we need to go? How do we get there? Ernest Holmes said in the Science of Mind magazine, unless we become the living embodiment of love and light, pause, full stop and breathe, unless we become the living embodiment of love and light, we shall have no justification in saying that God is love and light. See, we say that God's magnificence, and God is joy, and God is infinite creativity, and God is, and Spirit is, and the universe is, and is, and is, and is. And we put all these qualities and traits and things on Spirit. We quickly label all the things that the universe is. But if we're going to always make it about what it is, as if it is separate from us, then we're just talking. We're just blah, 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 blah. We're like the adults in the Charlie Brown Peanuts universe. Wah, 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 wah. We're just talking. We're not really living. We're modern day New Thought zombies who are just going about the motions of pontificating about all that God is. But if we're not going to embody it, then why do it? So, if we're going to talk about what God is, what Spirit is, what the universe is, then the only thing for us to now do is embody it and make it a lived truth, a lived fact. That's the whole point of living the vision. Don't just visualize it. Don't do a vision board. Don't do visioning if you have no intention of embodying what comes forth, what comes out, what is inspired. If you're not going to embody it. So the task, the invitation is to recognize, take stock of what we say, the qualities, attributes of God. Take stock in what they are. Take stock in where we are. Last week we talked about God is here and now, ever present, always. Take stock of that and then say, this is what God is, and if God is all there is, then it must be what I am, and now let me live that truth. And in living that truth, we then say, okay, so what is now mine to do? As I look forward into this new horizon, this living the vision, this moving on purpose, what does it mean for me to pick up my pallet and walk? What does it mean for me to live, move, and have my beingness as whole, perfect, and complete? Because that which is wholeness, perfection itself, and absolute completeness is the truth of what I am. And if it's what I am, then now how do I live from that space? Not just live. Tracy getting me some water. She think I'm coughing because my throat is dry. My throat is not dry. I'm coughing because I'm talking too fast. And I'm sure the interpreters would be like, well, slow down, man, slow down. So I'm going to slow down momentarily. So there's this idea, once again, she said, put it on the coaster. She messing with me doing sermon. It's sermon time, Tracy. Trying to distract me. There's this idea that if we are going to say that this is what God is, then we have to live from that space, not try to reach externally for it. Don't try to become health and well-being. Be health and well-being. Don't go externally trying to find it, trying to do work to get it. Start with, how can I be it? And if nothing else, first, how can I be it in my mind? How can I, and I mean really see it. Because right now, if I ask everybody, except for Tiffany and anyone else needing American Sign Language and the interpreters, if I ask everybody else to close your eyes and bring to your mind's eye the face of someone you care about and love, you can see their face. Bring to your mind's eye something you did in your teenage years, something you did in elementary school, maybe your first friend or your first crush. Bring that person or that experience to your mind's eye. And I would venture to say that many of us, bring to your mind's eye that first song when you knew that you were in love. There's a place within your mind, within your consciousness, that you can actually hear the song. There's a place within your consciousness where you can see the decorations of the dance hall. So then if we can envision something so crisp and so clear that it actually brings a smile to our face and lifts our heart with wow, that was such a fun time. And remember when such and such, they fell. Oh, that was, it pulled all the decorations down. Oh man, wow. And we relive it. Then if we can do that, then you can envision yourself as whole, perfect, and complete. You can envision yourself as healthy. And once you have it in your mind's eye, your consciousness, your inner eye, the inner eye of spirit, universe, God, infinite divine intelligence, then bring it into your heart space so you feel it. And when you think it and feel it, begin to speak about that truth that you are seeing in your mind's eye, that you are feeling in your heart. Talk about it. I feel so good today. I'm really glad that I feel so well today. In fact, I'm going to meditate and treat on how well I feel today. And then start to live from that space. Behave as one who is well. To such a degree that even when there is a migraine, you know that there is a part of you that is beyond migraine. That even when there is a flare-up of lupus or some other form of dis-ease, even in the midst of its flare-up, you are able to say, but I know that there is a part of me that is beyond that, and I am going to, in the midst of it, I am going to connect to this part of me that I know is peace, that I know is well, that I know is joy. And even while feeling pain or discomfort or anxiety, I know that there is an infinite place that this cannot touch and cannot reach. And so I am going to dwell in the house of peace and well-being. And I breathe. I look forward, not backwards. I look ahead into what I am choosing to demonstrate and manifest. My steps are moving forward, not backwards. And we breathe. We reflect on the words of Ernest Holmes, who said in the Living the Science of Mind, there is no place in this practice for arrogance or the holier-than-thou attitude, because that place is where spiritual bypass comes from. That's me saying that. Holmes didn't say that, just an FYI. The great have always been humble. The great have always been kind. The great have always been lovers of humanity. So anytime we feel the desire to spiritually bypass, or anytime someone spiritually bypasses to us, well, you do know the only reason you're sick is because you're thinking about it. You're bringing it into your consciousness. You must have decided in a soul contract or something that you wanted to be sick, or you wouldn't be sick. Let that stuff go. Just let it go. Breathe. And recognize that there are a variety of situations and layers and levels of thinking and genetics that play into ancestral stuff and mass consciousness and all manner of things. And sometimes we simply rest in this is where I am, this is my experience, And from this place where I am right now, maybe I don't know my destination. Maybe I don't know what tomorrow holds. But what I am choosing to anchor and ground into where I am right now, it's almost like I said before, when you're sightseeing. Sometimes you may just be wandering around. You have no particular destination in mind. Oftentimes, Tracy and I will go to New York. We don't have any specific place we're going. We're just walking. So in that regard, our destination, quote unquote, is unknown, but our destination is everywhere we go. Every corner we stop at to cross the street, destination. Every statue we walk past, destination. The destination is the journey. Not a single point where we stop. The destination is each step we take. The destination is each thought we think. The destination is the process of moving from the process of simply being, the process of being and then doing. The destination is eternity. The destination is always and forever. Breathe. Because we know the Western mind likes to know, like there's a to-do list and a checklist and I got to get somewhere and got to get there by noon. And if I'm not there by noon, I'm late. And if I'm, I got to check, did, done. Plan. Gotta get somewhere fast. If you the early bird gets the worm, right? Like that's the Western mindset. But sometimes the destination is simply the journey. The destination is not a fixed point in space or time or consciousness. Where are you going individually? And where are we going collectively? You get to choose. Where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? Who do you want to be? Remember one of the slides last week. Who do you choose to be? And how do you choose to act? How do you choose to show up in the world? You get to choose this. Do you choose, as Ernest Holmes said, do you choose to be great? Therefore, be humble, be kind, be generous, be loving, be compassionate. Is that your choice? Or do you choose rather to dwell in the land of suffering and misery, the land of dog eat dog, the land of, you get what I'm saying, lack, scarcity, all of that stuff? Is that where, because we get comfortable in that. It's easy to get caught up in that and be comfortable. Ernest Holmes said, in The Science of Mind, we do not say that everything is all right when it is not, when it is wrong. We don't bypass it. If someone feels pain, they feel pain. We don't say, hush. Holy, 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 you feel no pain. Stop thinking about it and it will fade away. Really? That's spiritual bypass. We don't say that. We acknowledge, you're in pain. Intellectual pain, mental pain, emotional pain, psychological pain, physical pain, trauma. We acknowledge it. And then we treat, we pray. We know the truth of your being. Recognizing that, we treat and then move our feet accordingly. So we do not say that all is right when all is wrong. Because as I said, that's spiritual bypass. And technically what you're doing then is you're focusing on what's behind you, not what's in front of you. Spiritual bypass, spiritual malpractice. Habits and beliefs. What are our habits and beliefs? And are they anchored in the practice of bypassing? Because keep in mind, why do people bypass? Because it's easier, because it removes the need to do your spiritual work. It's easier for me to blame and shame the victim than for me to do my work and then to be generous and cooperative enough and collaborative enough to work with them so that they shift on their own accord to a higher state of being. It's easier for me to just say, dude, it's your fault. That you created it. You are the creator of your own experience. So if you're experiencing blah, 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 that's your fault. You did it. You shouldn't have created it. Leave me alone. I'm happy. I'm happy and I know it, clap my hands. You're miserable and you know it, clap your hands. You created your own life and it's full of so much strife. You should have created something a little better. Clap, clap. Like, really? Is that what we do? But spiritual bypass does exactly that. Spiritual malpractice does exactly that. Because it's easier than doing the work. Reverend Sunday Cote, the spiritual director, minister, senior minister of CSL Leesburg, said, spiritual bypassing is a tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, and unfinished developmental tasks. We try to outmaneuver. It's like football. We're like someone's trying to tackle us and we woof, woof, and avoid it. We don't want to directly head on. And just FYI, once again, anytime you want the slides, you want copies of these, email Tracy or I, and we will send it. So don't need to jot notes or screen capture. You can always ask for the slides and we will send them. Spiritual bypass. To sidestep emotional issues, psychological wounds, unfinished tasks in our development. We often refer to that stuff as the shadow side. In Star Wars, it would be the dark side of the Force. The shadow is not bad. It is not the enemy. We have covered this several times not too long ago. Dr. Ronnie spoke about the shadow. I've spoken about the shadow. I used Marianne and Art as part of the example because artists, we use shadow and shading. Like, we've talked about this, but I'm noticing there's still elements of vilifying the shadow rather than recognizing the shadow can be used as a tool for greater enjoyment and thriving of life. We can use our shadow. The shadow does not have to be the enemy. When we tap into it and recognize, once again, in Star Wars, you're familiar with the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. There are Jedi and there are Sith. But did you know that there are Jedi who walk the fine line between the light side and the dark side, and they are called gray Jedi? Qui-Gon Jinn is a gray Jedi where he balances between the two extremes and is in balance. If you recall from Doctor Strange, the Ancient One tapped into the dark dimension to add life so that she would live long enough to ensure a successor, Dr. Stephen Strange. When we use dark and light in balance, yin and yang in balance, then we are able to thrive. But what we tend to do is we vilify it, and then we try to... I'm trying to understand this. What exactly does this mean? Whereas Resma says we do not need to understand white supremacy. And we can insert a whole bunch of other things in there. We don't need to understand racism, sexism, homophobia. We don't need to understand it because white supremacy isn't rational. Breathe on that one. It's not rational. We won't end it with the intellect alone. It is internalized deep within our bodies. Breathe. So that means we have to get to a level of somatic understanding, recognizing where in our bodies do we feel trauma. Being out of touch with our body limits our capacity to learn and evolve. Being out of touch with our body, keep in mind, spiritual bypass, once again, many times in New Thought, we say, well, the body isn't real, it's just an illusion. No, because then that means God is an illusion, because if God is showing up in these physicalized forms, this individualized incarnation, then that means God is fictional and an illusion. And it's not. And it dramatically reduces the possibility of an authentic spiritual presence. We must embrace what the body feels recognize what it feels, and then move to whatever it is we are called to move into through that experience. Jeff Brown said, if you want to live a more spiritual life, live a more human life. Be more truly, madly, deeply human. Because there is no separation between that which is divine and that which is human. So when you fully step into what it means to be human, be a human being, live the life that a human being lives, which we've talked about, since we were in elementary school. The whole evolutionary thing is, this evolved to this, and this evolved to this, and this evolved to this. Whatever. Doesn't matter how we think about it in terms of that, or if we think about it in terms of how do we evolve in our consciousness as we develop in our human lives. Do we still have the mind that we had when we were 5, 10, 18, 24, 30, 50? Do we still have the same mindset of God, an anthropomorphic deity sitting on its throne to judge and send you to hell? Do we still have the idea of if a woman wears a short dress, she deserves to be raped? She called it upon herself. Do we still have the idea of, well, if black people would just, do what you're supposed to do, then the cops would have no reason to put their knee on your neck? Do we still have this idea somewhere in our, or have we evolved to a place where we now understand how thought creates and how thought, word, and deed are part of the creative process? So that we are now at a point where what we are asking is, we are human being, but being what? What are we being? We are given the opportunity each day to choose the direction of our thoughts, to look ahead or look behind. We don't drive a car forward while looking in the rearview mirror. Martin Luther King Jr. said, why is the church always the tail light and not the headlight? Why or when do we choose to move forward rather than backwards in thought, in our lives, in our experiences? We get to choose. I am a human being who is being divine, who is being creative, who is being a demonstration of what it means to be healthy and joyful and grateful. That's what I'm being. It's not what I'm doing. I am being it. And if I am being it fully, then clearly what I do is going to reflect in my practice. Seth Godin said, talent is something we're born with. It's in our DNA. A magical alignment of gifts. But skill is earned. It's learned and practiced and hard won. Skill, the skill of prayer, the skill of meditation, the skill of walking the walk, the skill of communication, cooperation, collaboration, the skill of moment by moment by moment living, moving, and being divine. It's insulting to call a professional talented. She's skilled, first and foremost. Most people have talent, but only a few care enough to show up fully to earn their skill. Skill is rarer than talent. Skill is earned. Skill is available to anyone who cares enough to do the practice. And we practice to such a degree that eventually the skill, the practice becomes what we live. Reverend Sunday once again says, we are experiencing individual and collective trauma from the pandemic, systemic racism, and political unrest. And we are called to address these embodied practices that include our mind, our heart, and our body. We are called to do the work of individual recognition of what it means to be healed, what it means to be healing, what it means to be a healing presence. And then collectively we shift. This week our practice, ask ourselves and journal, where in my body do I feel and experience stress or trauma worry or fear or loneliness? Where do I feel it in my body? When I am angry, do I clench my jaw? Do I grind my teeth? When I am frustrated, do I ball up my fist and clench my butt cheeks? Don't laugh at me, Tracy, because you do it. You do it, just so you know. But where in my body do I experience this? Where in my life do I see the shadow being expressed or repressed? Do I see it in my work, in my family, in my finances, in my relationships? Where do I see the shadow being expressed or repressed? And how can I transform or transcend the shadow individually and collectively? In other words, how can I make the shadow a work of art? How can I embody the shadow to a degree where the shadow now works for me? If you remember the slides from before, there was the shadow where it was a bunch of scraggly looking pieces that when the light shined on them, it created a human form. But if you look at all of these little scraggly pieces of metal, that's not a person, but they're using the shadow to create form, to create art. How can I transform or transcend the shadow, individually and collectively? And then lastly, although it's not lastly, anyhow, stop laughing at me, Tracy. Do I tend to look ahead or behind, and what do I see? Do I tend to look ahead or look behind? Am I tending to say, well, you know, ever since I was 10, I have been. That's backwards glancing. Well, you know, I've been addicted to whatever since, and that's backwards looking. Well, you know, my family has always had, that's backwards looking. We can acknowledge it, but if I am tending to go back there all the time to explain today, then I'm not shifting and looking forward to being free from this and living a different life. And then lastly, what does it mean to live my practice? And we breathe as we prepare for our declaration, our affirmation. I will read it first, and then if you feel so inclined, together. I am the ever-evolving, living embodiment of love in action. And that love in action could be anything. The living embodiment of creativity in action, peace in action, joy in action. So you can fill it in with whatever you want to fill it in with. Together, I am the ever-evolving, living embodiment of love in action. And we breathe because we are recognizing that this next beautiful, amazing individual is exactly that. She is love in action. She is joy in action. She is power in expression. And right now, she graces us with the gift of music that she is bringing to us. So at this moment, we put our hands together and welcome back to the stage, Tipora.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful, empowering message. Really, would have loved to see your face too while you were talking though, instead of all the slides. So you all know this song, Ricky Byers. This lady right here. Can you see her? Yes? That is my ticket to her show that I went to. See, now it's up here on my shrine. This is a beautiful song to just take us into the framework of living the embodiment of love and values that we want to hold. Oh, there he is. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Nod your head, shake hands, do something. Can you hear me? Okay, I got some hard head nods. So let's pause for a moment as we get ready to go into, the tithing, giving, donation part, and keep in mind what Tapora just sang. Let me live. She didn't say let me do. She didn't say let me do things in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way, in a completely holy manner. Let me live. And the only reason or the only way we can do that is if it's what we're being. Like our living is a demonstration of who and what we are being. So let me be that which is holy, holy, so that I may live in a holy, holy way, that I may give in a holy, holy way, that I may share in a holy, holy way, that I may reach my arms open and embrace and take in, allow and accept that which is holy, holy, in, through, and as me. As always, thank you, Tapora. That was beautiful. I almost wanted to get up and sign it, but I didn't want to take anything away from Ashley, so. Okay, so at this point of service, we recognize the importance of tithing to not only where we are spiritually fed and uplifted and energized and revitalized, but we recognize that we are also supporting the very structure of what it takes to keep a center, which is a business, it's a spiritual enterprise functioning. As Tracy always likes to say, it keeps the lights on. So knowing who and what CSL Greater Baltimore is stepping into as part of the looking ahead and living the vision to serve not only the Greater Baltimore area, because as we know, we have someone from Canada, we have someone from the Caribbean islands who joins us. We have a global family that is joining us. So CSL Greater Baltimore is a global community. So what we offer and what we tithe, what we donate, what we give, what we share makes this teaching and this community open for all. But how do you tithe? How do you give? How do you donate? Via PayPal, via text messaging, or the good old-fashioned postal mail. We love our mailman. Tracy and I gave him a Christmas card this year, and a gift card, and he was ever so grateful. We love our mailman, because I love getting packages and mail in the mail. But you can donate. Stop laughing at me, woman. But you can.
You may want to say what you're seeing until I get this to
because Tracy said technical difficulties. So right now, what I'm pointing out is the slide of PayPal, text messaging, and postal mail. So whether you can see it or not is not the point, because you know you have access to the internet.
You got it.
Feel free to go to our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.org or .com. Both of them take you to the same place, and you can always find more information about how to give. And if there's ever a question, because you can designate a certain portion to a certain thing. So if you ever want to know more, feel free to email me or any of the Board of Trustee members, and we will surely answer your questions. Together, let us declare our prosperity declaration.
Right on time.
I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And we breathe that in because what we are recognizing is that we are being prosperity. We are being abundance. We are being this divine overflow that source is. And what it is in the grandness, we are in this individualized form. We are not small. We are not less than. We are just as powerful as the infinite intelligence is. All that it is available in, through, and as us. So we anchor to that, knowing that from this overflow, this community, this teaching, this entire planet is enveloped in love and this holy, holy way of being. And knowing that, we also know that today we are being awesome, and because we are being it, we are demonstrating it, we are fully present to what it means to be awesomeness in expression.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything. That being said, let us move on.
Don't hate.
That's Tracy.
Don't
So,
hate.
today after service, know that you can have one-on-one spiritual mind treatment with our practitioner on duty today, Sue Monahan.
Woo!
If you are staying on afterwards, type prayer into the chat box and Tracy will know to set you into a breakout room with Sue for prayer. But if you, for whatever reason, are unable to stay, or you got other things to do, you're going out to be awesome and make today an awesome day, you do know you can send an email to receive prayer anytime during the week.
Anytime.
Feel free. So email info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org or email me directly and I will make sure that someone gets your prayer. We're going to pray you up. So, at this point, this Sunday service comes to a close, but we know that that which is spirit is never done because it is ever expanding consciousness. So we know that this service, the way of being in service, the way of being service to the world, to our neighbors, to our friends, to our family, to one another, and to ourselves continues with each thought and each word and each feeling and each way that we show up. So we accept and we allow and we let this power and presence marinate on us and flow through us and flow out of us into the world. Simply being God made flesh, spirit given form, love in expression, light and joy and delicious awesomeness. Knowing that this is so, I surrender it. I call this service and all that came before up to this moment good and oh so good, and that this infinite goodness continues throughout the day, the week, and the month, and the year, and on, because that which God is good and oh so good. And together we declare it by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
And at this time, Frank, Jim, and Tracy will open the lines of communication. Feel free to chat freely. Love y'all.